Hi there, so last video for today I wanted to talk about perception and distorted perception in these connections or in the lives of people that are experiencing a twin flame journey. I heard someone say this, I can't remember exactly who it was, it might have been like Kyle Cease or Phil Good or something that said this, because I follow them and have done for a while. But one of them or someone like that said this and it really just hit me. When we think other people need to wake up or heal or something, often we're the ones that are asleep in our own dream. And that's something to sit with at times. And it's quite trippy, this mirroring thing. But it's like, are we seeing the other? Or are we seeing a reflection of us and where we need to heal? Because often I find that I've been on both sides of this, I think, and I've seen people have mirrored myself to me, and I've sort of judged them in some way, or I've thought they were really wounded and stuff, and that they needed to heal. And then I've had it the other way, where it's like people are responding to me or seeing me a certain way, and that conflicts with how I feel myself to be on the inside, or what point in the journey I feel I'm at. And it's interesting, at least, to ponder about, am I actually able to perceive them, or are they illuminating my shadow to me, and or illuminating where I'm at in that energy polarity? Like, for example, I'll make it real for you. Like, for example, if a man is seeing something in a woman and thinks she's like distorted or wounded to a certain point, is he seeing that woman, or is he seeing a reflection of where his feminine energy is at? And I think it really, you need to have quite a profound level of self-awareness and of detachment to be able to actually see the other person, and also to be able to actually see them where they're at in the present. Because I think that's another thing that can happen. You might be perceiving the other person, but if your feminine energy is like 7 years behind your masculine, for example, then you might be seeing them, a version of them that's 7 years behind where they actually are in the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's really trippy. Because if we don't look at these sort of things, we just kind of assume that we have an accurate perception of the other person. But I think it can be quite entangled and quite enmeshed when you're dealing with soul connections, and when you're dealing with someone that is able to be a mirror to you and or able to take on that polarity. That's what I've noticed for myself, that actually got me into a bit of trouble, or quite a bit of discomfort as a child. I noticed that I actually illuminate people's shadows, and a lot of the time they would sort of attack me based on what I was reflecting of them. Like, it wasn't actually me that they could see. It was their own shit that I was presenting to them that they thought was me. And then trying to, I've had it in my recent journey, like over the last 7 years as well, where I've pulled in, I'm sure I've spoken about this before, but I've pulled in people that have been trying to get me to heal and telling me how I needed to heal and step up and surrender, and I needed to do this and that, and on some level I still did need to heal when I pulled in people like this. However, it was like, no, if you're seeing that in me, you need to do that. I'm showing you where you're at. If you think that I need to heal and I'm really wounded, it's like, at least humor the idea that maybe you're the one that's wounded in that energy, and try it on. of, if I heal my feminine a bit more, do I perceive this other person differently? Because that can often happen. That as you sort of clear your own mirror and as you heal yourself, you start to see them differently, but they're not actually changing. Or in my case, when people have perceived me a certain way, I might not have changed. I might still be showing up as the same person and expressing myself the same way, but their experience of me will be quite different, because they're more present with their own feminine, and or they've healed a bit more in that energy. So now they're able to witness me more as my present self, rather than, like, I think I've actually been really good at this as well, and it's a gift of mine, but it's also been something that's been a bit of a curse at times, because I've been able to reflect that to people, but it's like it's hurt me in the process, because they've attacked me based on what they've seen, or they've like I had it the other week, in a way slightly different, but a similar feeling of like trying to express myself a certain way and being heard a certain way, or trying to be heard a certain way, and the other person was it was like they were present with me 7 years ago, rather than what I was actually saying in this moment, and then were responding to that, and my present self was feeling misunderstood and not received and not accurately heard. So it's like it can come out in conversation at times, like it's not just in a visual reflection, it's also in the way that you exchange with that person and the way you relate with them. It's like are you relating with present them, or are you relating with a version of them from the past that you're still present with, if that makes sense? It's like we might be physically pulling in someone, and they might be present with us, but then we say it gets a bit complicated, but say our feminine energy is 3 years behind where we're at in the physical, and if this person is expressing in feminine energy, we might experience them like them 3 years ago, because that's what aligns with us in the moment. And it's almost like we need to sort of upgrade ourselves so that our feminine energy is present day and is not 3 years behind the masculine, to then be able to experience the person externally expressing in feminine energy as their present self. Because I think it's all like this hall of mirrors, or this experience of relating with self in a way. And I think another way that can manifest is when you pull in a version. It's like that's why we can't connect with what's present with us at times, because if we are 3, 4, 5, 10 years behind in one energy, then that's what we're pulling in. And sometimes I've found that it manifests the other way around, or it seems to be the other way around. It's like if our masculine energy or our body is 10 years behind our feminine or healed feminine, for example, you end up attracting in a man that's 10 years older than you. But it's actually a reflection of your energy being behind where you're at. So it's like, I hope I'm not confusing you too much. So it's like, say I'm 35. So if my like one of my energies is 10 years behind, then that's 25, right? But rather than attracting a 25-year-old man, I end up attracting a 45-year-old man, because that's 10 years in the past to me. Does that make sense? It's like the 25-year-old could in a way be 10 years older than me in that sense. So yeah, I don't want to confuse you too much, but basically what I'm saying is I think we need to really tune in and take our time with connections and try as best as we can to hear them in the moment. And also, again, returning back to what I keep saying about heal your relationship to self, get present with yourself, or try to be present with yourself, like consciously stay in your body, consciously try to express yourself where you're at now, you know, and express to the best of your ability, show up present and express yourself present, because and you know, maybe don't interact too much with those soul connections if you're ungrounded and you're not present with self as well, because that's when you don't experience them as their present self either. And I think that's what can happen at times. It's like you might be able to experience the other, but when you're in the moments that you're all up in the air with yourself and trying to do 10 or 15 things at once, and you're not in your body, and you're sort of here, there and everywhere, and your energy is everywhere, and you're not sure what you feel and everything, it's in those moments that it's difficult to gauge the other as well. It's difficult to see and experience other people or other, you know, people that can reflect that opposite polarity or can embody that opposite polarity. It's difficult to experience them as their present self because you're not present with self in that moment, you know. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I think it's just something to contemplate at times, that, or be aware of, that are we the ones that are asleep in our own dream, and are we seeing where we still need to wake up and where we still need to heal and become conscious and whatever else, or are we actually perceiving the other? And I don't think that's always clear cut either. I think it can change moment to moment or person to person, like, but yeah, often it's us that needs to wake up, and our perception is ourself, and what we're at war with, or what we're in conflict with, is our own feminine energy or our own masculine energy, rather than who's actually in front of us. And I think it's really important to step back and actually try to recognize that, and then try to relate to the other person as where they're actually at. And yeah, or retreat for a bit and recognize, no, hang on, I'm at war with myself here. You know, this isn't fair to this other person to act out this at war with them. I need to go into my man cave or into my woman cave and resolve that conflict with self, and then try to have the conversation again with the other person. So yeah, so might do another video today, I'm not sure yet, or that might be the last one for today. I'm really enjoying this top today. It's one of my favourite colours, and it just makes me happy, and I just felt inspired to do some videos which have turned out to be quite long. I used to do like 5-minute videos, but now I'm apparently doing 15-minute videos, but hey, it is what it is, right? So yeah, I hope you're all having a lovely, what day is it? Sunday? Maybe Saturday with you still? And yeah, are you seeing you, or are you seeing the other person? Thanks for listening.